Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another in-depth weather video. Today we're going to be doing another tropical day because there's so much going on in the tropics right now. We have Hannah that made impact today in the afternoon and evening hours and is still making impact as we speak. And we also have Hurricane Douglas going to make impact on Hawaii, kind of skirt across the north, kind of a weird track, but what can you do? Just gonna kind of ride the coastline over here, so most likely not gonna make landfall, but we do have hurricane and tropical storm warnings in effect for Hawaii and the surrounding areas, as well as some high surf warnings as well. So let's move on to the radar. I just want to show a little update on Hannah. It is on the coast of Texas. It has made landfall. It is continuing to batter the coast, and it will continue to batter the coast throughout the day. So let's move on. Let's first do the Hurricane Hannah visual here. Let's start with that. This thing was looking absolutely monstrous today. That does not look like Category 1. You can even see a little hint of an eye. Little hint of an eye in there. This got up to 90 miles an hour. I know I had a comment on the last video. It was forecast to go up to 80. It went up to 90. So definitely exceeded the predictions. So this storm has been exceeding all forecasts in strength and pure strength. It has very strong storm here, even though Category 1 really doesn't represent this storm. So let's move on to Hurricane Douglas. Oh, and by the way, Gonzalo is now a post-tropical cyclone. So this has weakened. Hurricane Douglas has weakened to a Category 2 or Category 1. It was Category 2 earlier, most likely a Category 1 now. So this will be moving, continuing this track. It's gonna hit. It's gonna kind of just skirt the coast here, and we'll look more into that when we get to the National Hurricane Center. But this track is a very odd track, so the impact might be less than we think, because this is a very northwest storm, at least looking from the satellite imagery. So let's move on to the National Hurricane Center. You have Hannah, you have Gonzalo, and we have another wave off the African coast that I will be talking about again today, because that looks like it'll develop as well. So here we are, Hurricane Douglas. We have, it is a hurricane. It'll continue to stay a hurricane, and we have hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, watches in effect, as well as some tropical storm watches over there. So it is going to kind of skirt the coast, then get downgraded to a tropical storm, push through the Hawaiian Islands, and continue going. This has a lot of strength here for the Central Pacific. It just keeps on trucking along. Key messages. Douglas continues to approach the main Hawaiian Islands, potentially passing dangerously close to or over the islands late tonight, so Saturday night through Sunday night. The close passage of Douglas brings a triple threat of hazards, including but not limited to damaging winds, flooding rainfall, and dangerously high surf, especially along east-facing shores. It is vital that you do not focus on the exact forecast track or intensity of Douglas due to Douglas's angle of approach to the islands. Any small changes in the track could lead to significant differences in where the worst weather occurs. Even if the center remains offshore, the severe impact could still be realized over the islands as they extend well away from the center. Terrain effects can cause strong localized acceleration of wind through gaps and where winds blow downslope. These acceleration areas will shift with time as Douglas passes near the islands. Hurricane force wind gusts are even possible within the tropical storm warning area. Winds will also be stronger at the upper floors of high-rise buildings. So let's finish off with the arrival time of winds with 5-day wind speed probabilities. So the Big Island will probably start to see some impacts right about now, and then we kind of just see this chain reaction. Sunday 2 a.m., Sunday 8 a.m., and then Sunday 2 p.m., Sunday 8 p.m., and that is by Monday 8 p.m. everybody should have gotten their impacts already, or are still experiencing the impacts of this storm. But the highest probabilities of seeing tropical storm force winds is on the central Hawaiian Islands, not really the easternmost, not the westernmost, the central Hawaiian Islands. So if we go to the forecast models here and we switch to let's use the Central Pacific, you can see Douglas just kind of skirts the coast and continues on its merry way. Now, let's go back to the National Hurricane Center. I do want to talk about the next... Oh, that's the thunderstorms. Let's actually hurricanes here. I want to talk about this next Atlantic system, because this has a very high chance of development. It is in its development zone. It has... So, a broad area of low pressure associated with a tropical wave located several hundred miles west-southwest of Cape Verde Islands is producing a large area of cloudiness and disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form early next week, while the wave moves westward at around 50 miles an hour across the tropical Atlantic. So within 2 days, we have a 50% chance of development, and then chance through 5 days, which would be either the 30th or the 31st, is 80%. So we do see this possibly a tropical storm, possibly maybe a hurricane. Who knows right now? But it's looking like it's going to take a similar track to Gonzalo, looking like a little bit further north. So if we go to the North Atlantic, we're tracking this right here. The GFS does show this forming, and we're starting to see that the GFS is showing this going a little further north. It is showing that possibly Puerto Rico could be affected by this. But then it continues. This is a very... I haven't looked at this very extensively, but it shows that this is going to be making landfall in North Carolina, continuing up the coast a little bit, and then heading on its merry way. Kind of a bomb cyclone ending up there. So this is a very, very... We gotta pay attention to the system, because right now there is a little bit of unknown, but this could possibly... These African easterly waves do pose a huge threat. They have so much time across the Atlantic to form and then strengthen. We saw that with Florence, we saw that with Irma, we saw... Those are the two big ones that in recent history. Maria as well. Maria did something very similar to this track here. But this is, right now, the current GFS models are showing this hitting North Carolina. And let's actually look at the base level winds. Yeah. So let's actually zoom in on the southeast, kind of get a better picture here. So let's go to regions, southeast. So, yeah. So that's about 72 knots. So just for reference, 34 knots is tropical storm force. We can see that on the coast. Hurricane force even on the coast as well. So this is definitely something that I'm gonna pay very close attention to. I suggest you all do as well, because if this makes a U.S. impact, and this is tracking to a very similar area that Florence was supposed to make landfall before it kind of did that curve and then hit South Carolina. So I'm definitely going to be watching this system. I will continue to provide updates with this system, but right now it is showing, the GFS is showing at least, that this will be making landfall in North Carolina. So that is all I have for today. I will see you again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a little bit away from the tropical updates as we start to kind of see a little bit of a relaxed phase here. Has been a very hectic past few days. I completely forgot about Deep Dive because of how active it has been. So Deep Dive will be pushed back probably a week or two from being last week of the month, probably to the middle of August. So with that, I am going to call it a video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Sunday.